so many pieces all back together now. What's your vision?
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of The Rise with Red Bull Leipzig. Now, before we get right into this episode, we've got a lot to go through. We're going to talk about the tail end of last season, and as you know, we got put out in the German Cup semi-final to Stuttgart. So after that, there was 5 games left remaining. They didn't mean a great deal because we were playing for a mid-table spot. We lost at home 4-1 to Dortmund, Clough getting a goal there. We lost 2-1 away to Cologne, Poulsen getting the goal there. We then beat Augsburg away from home. They were below us, of course, in the table. Davy Selke getting the goal there. Before a good 3-0 home win against Paderborn, Selke, Poulsen and Clough in that game. Final game of the season at the Borussia Park, away to Gladbach, we lost 3-0. Now to wrap up the tail end of Season 3, I will show you the league table, and then we can move on. So here we are at the end of Season 3 and the final league table. We were predicted to finish mid-table, and we told the media and the board we wanted to finish mid-table, and that's exactly what we almost done. Finished 11, 34 games played, 11 wins, 8 draws, 15 losses, 52 goals scored and 52 conceded, ending up on 41 points. Pretty convincing, comfortable, and the board were pretty happy with that. The league seen Hertha Berlin, Freiburg and Augsburg all go down. Champions Bayern Munich on goal difference ahead of Dortmund, who led the way for quite a while of the season. European spots go to Schalke, Leverkusen and Hoffenheim also. So, pretty good season for my first season in the Bundesliga, but now we move on. And the reason for this, guys, is, you know when you get in the zone and you end up playing and you keep playing? Well, I actually forgot about recording and I kept on playing, and only about 3 weeks ago game time, the end of July 2018, I remembered and realised I hadn't recorded. So what we're going to do here is, we've wrapped up the end of Season 3, let's talk about Season 4, and today we do play a live com in the first round of the German Cup. So before we get into today's tactics, transfers and everything else planned for Season 4 and of course the live com, we're going to talk about a few players that are currently here already. Bartlomew Dragowski, he has actually requested a transfer. I didn't actually realise what I thought he was saying to me. If a bid comes in, will I accept it? And I said yes, if it meets my valuation of you. And then he automatically went on the transfer list. So hopefully teams don't come in for him, but he is waiting for a promise from me. But if no bids come in, that promise cannot be accepted. And hopefully no bids come in for him because he is a top drawer keeper and a wonder kid at the start of the game. However, there has been some positive news regarding our number 7, the best player in the club in my opinion, Marcel Sabitzer. We did manage to extend his contract by 1 year, and we just happened to pay him the same wage. There is a couple of added bonuses in there, but the key point about this is we managed to remove the release clause totally, which was 13 million. He's worth way more than that, so I'm absolutely delighted to get that out of the way. Which means if bids do come in, they're going to have to pay top dollar to take my best player and the main man in my squad. Youssef Yarari Poulsen, now he is the club captain and he will be a main player from the start of the season, but he's a player that struggled last season due to a broken leg tail end of Season 1, so hopefully he can get back into goal scoring form and score back in amongst the 20 area that he was so used to before that damaging injury. A real quality player, someone I look to be massive in terms of this season, has been given a new contract also. So quickly we'll have a brief look at the finances, and as you can see our overall balance is 14 million. I must say there's been a lot of transfers this season, a lot of money going out and a lot of money coming in regards to sales as well as signings. So we'll get into that in a moment, but first we want to talk about our opponents today in the live com. So our opponents today are FC Nottingham. They play in the Baden-Württemberg, which is the deeper depths of Germany. Founded in 1957, semi-professional, regional 1-star reputation, and their finances are okay. Manager is Michael Wittwer. They've only got a few real players or players in their squad. Some of them and most are actually regen. So hopefully we can get a big win today, score a lot of goals like we did in the last season in the German Cup first round, and really we can get to see how we settle into our tactics and how the new signings will bed into the team. Now before we get into talking about the pre-season matches that we have played, I wanted to show you 3 new kits that we have. We have changed our sponsor from Nike to Adidas, Adidas being my favourite sport brand. Of course I did create these myself, putting the logo and the Red Bull logo onto this kit. Naturally, we go with the red and white, or the white and red should I say, for the home kit. The away kit is blue and yellow as it is in the game at the start of the season with the current real kit, and the third kit being an iconic one, we don't use that often, but it's very cool, very unique, and we'll try to keep that the colour of purple, as the current Red Bull third kit in real life is dark blue fading into purple. Pretty cool addition. I like to create new kits every season. Pretty cool addition there, and I'm really pleased with them. So here we are in pre-season. We've played quite a few games. Now the reason I've removed the goal scorers from here is because I'm going to showcase my new signings very shortly and tell you about the players that we've sold. Anyway, Ginkamp away we won 3-1. Jablanek at home we won 5-2. Brighton away from home at the American Express we did draw 2-2 before beating Hradec away from home 5-2. A 1-0 win over fellow German side Hertha Berlin at the Red Bull Arena. We did play Everton at Goodison Park in Liverpool, 24,000 in attendance for Leighton Baines' testimonial, in a game that seen Andre Hahn and Romelu Lukaku get goals. We then moved on and beat Maccabi Haifa 4-0 away from home, finally wrapping up to Pontevedra 4-1 away from home. And as you can see, the first match of the season, Nottingham away. Before we get into it, a tough start in the league. Schalke away, Cologne at home, Leverkusen away, Stuttgart at home, Wolfsburg away, Mainz at home, Werder Bremen away, who are back in the division, and Bayern Munich at home, opening up the first 7 or so games of the season. Okay, so that's a lot of it wrapped up now. We will get into the nitty gritty of the transfer business, the stuff that people really like to see. We'll talk about sales to start with. Benjamin Bello, the only player to get released by us on a free contract as his contract was up. He's went on to join 1860 Munich on a free transfer. Of course, they are in the league below. So all the best to him. He was released by the club, never actually used by me under my management in my coming up 4th year at the club. The next sale for the club is the number 1 for Cologne now, Patrick Rakowski, 25 years old. I understand why he wanted to leave. He only played around 3 games for us, and that was due to injury to Dragowski. We did, however, get 1 million for him. Really, we cut our losses because I think we played double that for him, but he was only signed as cover, as I say, at the age where he really wants to play first team football. So Patrick Rakowski has moved on to Cologne, who we will come up against soon, incidentally, in the Bundesliga. Now this sale's a bit of an unfortunate one. Massimo Bruno has joined Paderborn for just short of 900k. Now granted, he has got the attributes to warrant more money than that, but he does have 1 year remaining and he is made of glass. This guy, I swear, gets injured all the time. And as you can see, he's only just joined Paderborn and he's out for roughly 7 weeks until he's fully fit. His value has went up to 3.2 million. He is a quality player, but he was on a decent wage for somebody that isn't going to play really, and he didn't want a new contract, so we decided to move him on at a cut price of just short of 900k. Next up, we sold Dominic Kaiser. This was a bit of a difficult one. Now he is 29, he was in his prime, but we did want to go for a younger central midfield, and I felt it was time for him to move on. I was hoping to get around 6-7 million for him. It never happened. We got a 2.6 million deal plus a percentage of the sell-on fee. He was on £30,000 however per week. He did perform, but as I say, I was bringing in a much younger structure in the centre midfield. Time for him to move on, cut down that wage bill and take a little bit of cash. So Dominic Kaiser, they've got a real good player. He's moved on to Mainz, a good signing for them. I really felt that bigger clubs would come in for him. Good player. And unfortunately we have sold him and he has moved on. The next sale was Jonathan Jorge Esperaqueta to Frosinone for 5.5 million, I think it was, or something close to that. This was a case of really unlucky, not blending in and not performing to his attributes. Really, we brought him in for 7.5 million, and really I have brought in better. You will see when I go on to the transfer incomings, you will see that I brought in better than him. But had he performed, I would not have sold him. We did cut our loss by around 2 million and sold him on. For me, he's one that could really be good. Maybe he just didn't settle into my team or into German football. The penultimate sale was, of course, an unfortunate one. Zach Clough has left the club. He's joined Marseille. We did bring him in for 6 million from Bolton. and he did perform well for us, scoring 40 goals in 74 games, and I'm surprised he's not got an England cap, but surely he's destined to go on and get one. We did make big profit on him, brought in for 6 million as I say, sold for 16 million, which will eventually, should he perform, rise to 20 million. So we got a hefty profit from him. He wanted to go, he served me well, he scored me goals, better than 1 and 2, and I couldn't stand in his way. A real top gem on this game. Sad to see him go, but sometimes you have to let that attachment go with some players who want to move on to what he believes is bigger and better things, but hopefully I can prove to him, and maybe you never know, he will come back to Leipzig one day. Zach Clough joins Marseille for a potential 20 million deal. So here we are, the final sale for me, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. A player that was always wanted ever since we brought him in, a player that was always destined to go on to bigger and better things. So Christopher Ayer brought into me and my club for 1.3 million. We did turn down bids of 21, 22 million, and eventually we managed to squeeze 24 million in two and a half seasons later out of Real Madrid. Of course, when Real come calling, difficult to turn them down when they stump up that sort of cash. 23 million profit, nearly 24 million profit in 2.5 seasons. A real gem. Unfortunately for him, he's been moved into the Castilla squad, but I'm sure he'll go on to become a world-class player. Mega profit made. So that's enough talk of disappointments at selling 2 of our vital, which I was planning on being long-term players in my squad. Let's get into the more exciting area, the signings we've made. We've made quite a few, spent quite a bit of money. Let's see who we've brought into the club for the new season. So on Twitter recently, at the FM WizKids, if you want to follow us, I recently dropped a spoiler that we had managed to bring in Will Hughes in January on a pre-contract signing. I'm not sure if it was due to injuries or he just wasn't playing, but I haven't used this guy for around 2 years on Football Manager now, and I'm really excited to bring him in. He will be a first team player, brought in for nothing, and his value has went straight to 7 million. What a purchase. Signing number 2 is a little gem. Now, as you see, we just sold Rakowski for 1 million. I was really looking for a goalkeeper that would almost be happy to play backup, if you know what I mean. Not happy, but not complain so soon. So we brought in Godwin Adamu. Now, he comes in from Dolphins FC, who play in the Nigerian Premier League. Now, we signed him on a pre-contract to join in January, but as you know, you can get the buy now option, and it only costs us £40,000. So I thought, why not? We'll take him now, 40k, and we'll sell Rakowski. Really pleased with this guy as a backup. As you can see, he's wanted by 9 clubs already. Quite a various amount of clubs actually. Some of them pretty good. Anderlecht, Dinamo, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Lyon, Trabzonspor, etc. A real good goalkeeper. Hopefully, if needed and called upon, he can do a decent job. Real bargain at that. Here is the first of 2 strikers brought into the club. Of course, with the sale of Zach Clough, we were looking for someone to compete with the main 2 strikers, to be one of the 2 potentially. Enu Zunal comes in on loan from Manchester City, a real wonder kid. I've never actually used him before, but I have seen him used and become top drawer in the game, so hopefully he can have a real good effect for me. As you've seen earlier in this save, Kelechi Iheanacho got injured quite a lot and never quite cut the grade with us, so hopefully Enu Zunal can stay fit and play a big part in this season. Next signing is a freebie called Breslin Daniels. He comes in as an attacking midfield centre, 27 under 20 caps for South Africa. We picked him up for nothing, having been released by Bidvest Wits, who play in the South African Premier League. I've actually been to Bidvest Wits Stadium, which is in the centre of Johannesburg, almost in the city centre. We have actually loaned him out to Frankfurt, hopefully get some game time in Germany. He's a non-European player, and we have got scout reports on him every match checking how good he does, but for a freebie, this guy looks like a real quality find. £900,000 I've seen Hungarian side Diosgor part ways with Tamas Gubaci, who is formerly of Ferencváros. If you've heard of them, you possibly remember David Ginola of Newcastle scoring a worldie against them many moons ago. 18 years old and already a full Hungarian international. Comes in on £9,000 per week. Look at those attributes, guys. Quality acceleration, quality pace, quality composure, quality dribbling, amazing finishing, and a decent first touch. This guy's got potential and will go on to become an absolute world beater. Really delighted to pick him up for such a cheap price. Next up, we've brought in Jared Zatella from feeder club New York Red Bulls. Now, I matched his release clause, which was $5 million, and he has come into the club to compete and cover for Marcel Sabitzer on the right hand side. Only 19 years old, but already has 7 caps for the international team of USA. Someone whose attributes are pretty decent for starting, but will and surely improve over time. Really happy to get him in, and is currently learning from a more experienced player, which can only help. Real good signing, not a bad price, a different nationality, and he's been sent on an intensive learning language course to learn the German barrier to fit into my squad. Okay, so we're now getting into the big hitters of the signings. Coming in for $3 million from Everton is the 21 cap Bosnian international Mohamed Besic. You all know him, of course, from the Liverpudlian side, the blue half. 3.8 million value, comes in at 3 million, of course, as I said, a real bargain. A real stalwart in that defensive midfield position, but we have signed another defensive midfielder who will compete for that spot with him. I'm delighted to bring him in for that short fee of 3 million. £30,000 per week. I'm sure he will be a quality purchase and a relatively cheap one at that. Next in the door for 7.75 million is a player that the world have been talking about in terms of wonderkid material. It's Leroy Sané from Schalke. Never used him, but looks an absolute find on this game. And in another save I have with Blythe Spartans, he's actually worth around 30 million on that at Tottenham, if I remember rightly. So for a decent wage, a decent price, I'm really happy to bring him in and try him out on the left hand side. He will compete with Younes on the left hand side, but initially he's going to get given the nod and a chance to mainstay his place on the left hand side of my midfield. Next in the door is arguably our best central defender, coming in from Burnley for around £6 million, bringing him back to Germany, Kyriakos Papadopoulos. Now, I haven't used him in a while, but he is one of my all-time favourite defenders. Look at those attributes, guys. He's got some world-class stats in there. Heading, long throw, marking, tackling, determination, bravery, concentration, teamwork, work rate, balance, and importantly, he's got strength of 17 to match his pace and acceleration of 15. A real bargain and a top quality player that will replace the outgoing on loan Jonathan Tah, who goes back to Bayer Leverkusen from last season. Incidentally, while we're talking about the number 6 Kyriakos Papadopoulos, the new signing, I have made him vice-captain and replaced Lucas Klosterman in that role. So he could be a big part of the team should the club captain Jurari Poulsen either be on the bench, be injured or suspended. Now, the penultimate signing, costing me 10 million, which is a huge chunk of cash, is Alex Grimaldo from Barcelona. Aged 22 now, he has got 221 caps for Spain. A real cheap wage, which did quite swing it for me. But this guy is not only good at getting forward, crossing the ball in, having a decent bit of pace, he can take corners and he can take free kicks, so he's decent at set paces also. Anthony Young, as I showcased last episode, he kind of stalled on his performances last year and didn't quite cut it. He is wanted. I do want to keep him to compete with Grimaldo, but Grimaldo goes in as my left back, the starting in the number 1 berth in the number 3 role for the season coming. So we've saved the most expensive acquisition until the end. Initially, Bayern Munich did want around 20 million for him, but I managed to wangle my way down to 12 million to bring back the return of Joshua Kimmich. Now, I did say I bring in another defensive midfielder, so he and Besic will compete for that spot. I have given Kimmich the nod to start with. He's going to be a vital player in this team, a real quality player. As you know, I had him on loan last season. Didn't quite cut the grade at Bayern Munich, but we have got him back to the club. Disappointingly, around this contract, we have given him a massive £48,000 per wage per week, which sees our wage bill go quite high now. Really, an established German Bundesliga top side, our wage bill currently sits at. Hopefully his performances can back up the fee paid for him and the wage given to him. There you go, guys, confirmation of all the deals that we have had. Bello, Kaiser, Plough, Rakovsky, Esperiqueta, Daniels out on loan, Asia and Bruno all going out for 45.7 million, coming in for 45.43 million. Hughes, Sani, Gabachi, Besic, Grimaldo, Adamu, Daniels, Kimmich, Papadopoulos, Enal and Zatella. So that wraps up the transfers. Quite an exciting one, quite a lot of in and out goings. Hopefully some of the lads can perform, and we've signed a few big hitters that can really help turn our fortunes. and make us progress into a top side in this division. So here we are just before we get into today's live comm in the German Cup first round. We've got the predictions from the media on the left hand side. We are of course 151 to win the league. Of course I don't expect that. We are expected to finish 13th in the league by the media, but I'm really hoping for higher than that. And in this season I've really put forward to the board that I expect us to finish in the top half, so that being from 9th and above, that's where I want us to finish, and that will show a real sign of progression. And in the German Cup I've put down that we will finish at least in the last 8. Of course we had a big chance in the semi-final last year to get to the final. It never quite happened and Stuttgart put us out. But hopefully this year we can get to the quarter-final, and who knows, maybe the dream can come alive again. This is the beginning of Season 4. No trophies, but we are an established Bundesliga side looking to progress and break that top half of the table. As I say, it's a progressive save, so top half next season. Potentially after that we can look to break into the top 6 for a European spot, and then potentially a Champions League spot, and who knows, within 3-4 seasons we might be competing at the top end of the table with Bayern, Dortmund and Leverkusen for the German League Bundesliga title. So as you know, today we played Nottingham away in the German Cup first round, and should we progress to that we will play Plauen, who are an unknown quantity to me, or the second Bundesliga side Kaiserslautern, who we really know a lot more about in terms of playing them before, as we started off in the same league as them prior to the continuation of the series from the beta. As you can see guys, we are 1-10 favourites, and you can get Nottingham at 15-1 to win today's match. Clear favourites from us, expected to go on, dominate this game, and it will really give us a chance to see how our tactics work, obviously against a much smaller side. We can get a few goals hopefully, and a few of the players can bond, gel, and really settle into this formation, which I'm about to go through in just a second. Something I didn't mention that might come around to be a key moment in this season. Manfred Dubsky has retired from the game and went into his home and faded away from the football scene. So we've brought in somebody new. It's Rainer Widmeyer. Been an assistant manager for a long time, former player, never played at a high level, but he has got clubs that he's been assistant manager at that are quite highly reputation. St. Gallen, Hertha Berlin, Stuttgart, Hoffenheim and Grasshoppers to name some. Hopefully he can make a difference to the squad and be as effective as Dubsky did. So we are here, the opening game of the season. I still find it a little bit bizarre that they play the German Cup first round prior to the actual season, but that's the way it is and that's the way we're playing. We're lining up against a 4-4-1-1 full of mainly regens. I don't actually know any of their players, so it's an unknown side to me, but we're concentrating on ourselves today. A slightly new formation in terms of one player dropping back. So this is the formation today. Dragowski in goals, Grimaldo as a fullback on attack at left back, Papadopoulos in the middle as a central defender on cover, central defender on defend, Upamecano's fullback at right back on defend is Klostermann. Kimmich in the middle playing as the regista, in front of him as the deep line playmaker it's Will Hughes, who at some point throughout the game might get pushed more further forward. On the left hand side it's new signing Sané. On the right hand side as a supporting winger, unlike Sané who is playing attacking, it's Sabitzer. So really he's going to look to beat his man and get an early cross in. Up front as a defensive forward, Jari Poulsen, and Selke as the advanced forward. Debuts today to Grimaldo, Papadopoulos, Kimmich, a second debut for him, Hughes and Sané. So that's 5 debuts in total. On the bench, Kaufmann, Bush, the new signing Besic, Younes, Zatella should I say, 18, he's getting a potential debut. Also Gabachi and Enes. So a lot of debuts to be made today. Let's get into the match and let's hopefully get a few goals for our entertainment. So today we're using a team talk that we don't use all often, to be honest. It's one that we tell them to go out, relax, play a natural game and the results should come, because that's exactly the way it should be. We fully expect to win today, fully expect to get a few goals, hopefully bring some entertainment. Again, this is not about the win, we fully expect that and to get to the next round. This is about settling in, embedding the new players and adjusting to the new tactics, player instructions and team instructions. Yusuf Poulsen, the number 11 captain in the squad today. Upamecano. Klostermann back in the squad, Man and Bush on the bench today. Of course, that was a lot of rotation in that right back berth last season. Poulsen travels with the ball, plays an audacious cross and it goes out for a throw-in. Pretty poor from him. Grimaldo, Sané, and straight into the hands of Fritsch. As you notice, Grimaldo there taking the corners. He is the best corner taker and free kick taker actually in the club. I know it's a bit risky playing your left back that far forward on set pieces, but it's kind of like Leighton Baines. He does that, doesn't he? So hopefully his quality can shine and we can get a few goals from him from the set pieces and a few assists of course as well. And there you go, on his debut, Grimaldo, just as we were talking about him, puts a cross in to Davy Selke, who's on his own, notches his first goal of the season, puts us 1-0 ahead. Nice left foot cross, past the penalty spot and a side foot from Davy Selke with the goalkeeper coming out to no man's land, puts us 1-0 ahead. 5 shots, 3 on target. Not a lot happening from Nottingham, as we expected. They're more or less a pub side, if we're being honest. And there it goes, 2-0. Grimaldo again with the assist, crossed in. Papadopoulos looked like he was going to get that, but he doesn't. Goes to the back post, and Upamecano was there to nod it in. That was a flick on from Papadopoulos actually. I thought he actually went for the header himself. Flicked onto the back post, and Upamecano put just 2-0 up and into the driver's seat, as we expected. Selke should have made it 3-0. Grimaldo's been involved in everything here so far. Klosterman on the right hand side. Incidentally, we have tweaked and twisted the whole set piece routine with corners, free kicks and throw-ins. We've adjusted them all in terms of defending and attacking. We may get into that in the next episode. Of course, this episode will go on a little bit longer because we're bringing you the tail end of Season 3 update while previewing Season 4 and of course the initial first game of the season live com. Will Hughes, Selke, Klosterman, headed it forward but it comes to nothing. Yellow card incidentally for Papadopoulos in this game. It does say Papadopoulos got that assist actually. Grimaldo crossed it in, he headed it on for Upamecano at the back post. Sané. Of course this game won't be a real test for the new signings, and there you go, Leroy Sané on his debut gets an assist and Davy Selke nods it in. 3-0, 28 minutes gone here, 10 shots in total and we are coasting. 2 men couldn't stop Sané from crossing it in, and the goalkeeper should really be coming for that. Defenders in no man's land and Selke blasts it in to put us 3-0 up. Grimaldo corner. Sané and he puts it wide. Reflecting on last season, guys, I was pretty happy with that 11th, 12th place finish that we did get last season, and I was really, and most of the time, I would be pleased with that semi-final in the cup, but to lose after being ahead twice to Stuttgart in the cup with neither of the Giants in the final, that was a huge chance. A little bit disappointing in the end, a bitter blow, but hopefully we can get over that pretty quickly and settle into the season here. Grimaldo, a lot of ball action for him. Poulsen, Selke, Sabitzer again, Poulsen, Grimaldo, put it wide. Nothing threatening coming from Nottingham here. Ekmuller, Pizza, Amrani, Ekmuller, Paul, puts it straight at Dragowski for Nottingham's first shot of the game after 37 minutes. Kimmich, Selke, Sabitzer, Selke again, beats his man, pulls it in, and it's Will Hughes, the wonder kid, gets his first goal on his debut, and things are looking cushy here. Selke bypasses his man, plays a cheeky little pass 6 yards into the penalty spot area, and a nice side foot tucked away from the blonde-headed bombshell that is Will Hughes. Everybody having a fine game, apart from Klosterman really, he's only got a 6.9. Dragowski got a 7, but he hasn't really done much. We will make a couple of substitutes here, guys, give a debut to a few players, and we'll be back in the second half in just a second. So a couple of substitutes have been made, guys. Zitella has come on in the right for Savitzer. Key player, of course. We don't really want to get him injured in a game that looks like we're already going to stroll home to the victory. And we've also brought off Poulsen up top, and we've brought on Gabachi, the new signing. I was tempted to bring off Selka as well and bring on Unal up front, but a chance to get a hat-trick on the opening game of the season swayed me to leave him on the field for just now. The next substitute will be Selka to come off for Unal, or Besic to come on for Kimmich. Gabachi, and it's offside, and nearly a dream start for the Hungarian player Tamás Gabachi. Really excited about him. One of the cheap gems that I found this season. Well, with this series I mean, but I say me, in all fairness, it was indeed my scouts that found him, not myself. Klosterman. Zitella, the American, making his debut. And it hits the bar. Obviously didn't mean that. It was more of a cross. Tipped over, it must have been by the goalkeeper. Zitella. And it's fumbled away. It looked like it hit the post there. Grimaldo. Burke, the number 3, has the ball. Plays it forward to the number 9, Paul. Hounded by my players. 58 minutes gone here. We are going to turn on attack, see if we can get another couple of goals for the entertainment side of things. Selka loses the ball. Benner, the number 7 on the left hand side, plays it forward to Paul. No support though. And a lot of my players backtracking and getting very defensive minded, which is good to see. Upamecano headers away. And what looked like a cross was tipped over from Dragowski there. We will make that final substitution. We'll make Unal wait, and we'll bring on Besic for his debut, because Besic is really strongly going to compete, I feel, with Kimmich for that spot in CDM, the Regista role. Whereas Unal is coming in as a rotational player. Gabachi. Poor cross in. Kimmich. Last action for him. Hughes. Gabachi. Sané, and it's 5-0. Leroy Sané with his first goal for the club. Good to see the new players getting right involved in the goals and assists here today. Poor goalkeeping from the initial Gabachi shot. 5-0. We're home and dry. Goals apiece from Upamecano, Hughes, Sané, and a double from Selka. Zitella plays it in, and that was unlucky from Gabachi. Looked to knock it back. Assist from Papadopoulos, Grimaldo, Sané, and a couple of other players that I missed actually there. 13 minutes to go here. Can Selka get his hat-trick? Selka and Gabachi with the assist for the other goals. 8 minutes to go here. Thoroughly dominated. As we expected, nothing to brag about, guys. Not a lot of passion here, of course, in the game for myself personally, because we expected to win this. When we play in the league matches, that's when you'll see me really burst out and show some heated passion in the matches that mean hugely in terms of progression for this squad. And as you can see, we're away to progress to the next round of the Cup. More likely to play Kaiserslautern in the next round. I'm sure if I remember rightly, that draw is at home, which is of course a positive. 1 minute to go here. Amrani, Paul, Ben Nagel, Ekmuller, Upamecano intercepts. Another positive here, guys. Clean sheet for Dragowski, and of course the back four. Pleasing on the first game of the season. Besic, Hughes, into Gabachi, and he puts it over. And that should just about be the full-time whistle here. And there you go, guys. Donning our nice new fresh white and red kit for the first time today in the 4th season of the Bundesliga campaign. In the German Cup, first round, it's Nottingham 0, Red Bull Leipzig 5, a great debut, a clean sheet, tactics bedded well, against a much easier opposition than usual. New players settled in, goals amongst them, assists among them, and hopefully this bodes well for the season ahead. So that's confirmation of progression to the next round of the Cup, guys. Plauen and Kaiserslautern yet to play their match, so we're unsure of who we will play. So in terms of the next live com, the next match, the next update we will bring you. So we will play Schalke away, Cologne at home, Leverkusen away, Stuttgart at home, Wolfsburg away. I'm going to bring you a live com that we haven't actually done recently, which is Mainz at home at the Red Bull Arena, and hopefully we can get a good 3 points there. That gives us a chance to update the 5 games. Prior to that, the cup draw who we will actually face, and then we will review any signings or sales that are potentially done before then. As ever, guys, thank you for tuning in. Today is a long episode, 35 minutes almost. Really, it's longer than we usually do. Of course, we did have to wrap up the end of last season and the preview to this season. A lot of things we had to discuss, but hopefully you're enjoying it. You check it out, and if you are, give it the thumbs up. As of the next episode, we'll back to be around the 15-16 minute mark. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you like the video, enjoy and give it the thumbs up. If you don't, give me some constructive feedback. And as ever, guys, thank you for watching and take care.